So I really now devote my life to trying to educate. I speak through, I was referred to my local Alzheimer's Alliance here in Smith County, and through them I've been speaking uh, locally, we do have two nursing schools here in town, and I generally speak to both of those nursing schools several times a year. I've come to met a nursing instructor in TCU in Fort Worth, and I speak to her students every year. I've got that coming up here in March pretty soon. So I get to go back to Fort Worth now. We're doing it back in person. For a while we were doing it video wise, but and through the Lewy Body Dementia Association, I was able to speak at the last International Lewy Body Dementia Medical Conference, and that Robert Bowles also spoke at. So I have a passion for that. I have a real passion for speaking to the medical community about it because I was so involved, and I'm hoping that through that I'm helping some ways and helping people with dementia live better with their dementia. I like to say, and this is not unique to me at all, I want to be known as someone living with my dementia, not dying with my dementia. And that's kind of where we are now. And I enjoy my life. I do have bad days. I try to get the best I can out of every day I have, and try to do some good every day.
So Dawn, I have a couple questions. One, I know we've talked before about one of your passions being that people kind of learn that Alzheimer's isn't the only kind of the one and only, or well, almost all of dementias. So can you talk a little bit, because I know also the medical community, I'm wondering what is it that your message kind of, because it seems like that's kind of a passion, a focus of yours with your background. What is it that you really want them to know and hear?
Well, it is a passion, and I was somewhat stunned that I would see 7 neurologists and not have a diagnosis. I was repeatedly told I didn't have Alzheimer's, and with Alzheimer's, almost always it begins with a short-term memory issue, and I, for a long time, certainly not at the time I was going through that, have any problem at all with my short-term memory. And all the screening tests were for short-term memory, and even at neurologist offices. And to me, it was somewhat unusual. I thought that even neurologists didn't seem to have a tendency to inquire further about the other possible dementia, including Lewy body dementia. I really kind of had what was classic. I described the symptoms as I look back now. The big common thing we have, again, it's not 100%, but almost everybody I know and everybody I talk to and have met with that is going through this, they experience these vast changes in cognitive abilities. And there were days where I felt like I could go back to work. And then there was days where, like I said, I didn't recognize my wife. I couldn't operate the microwave to heat my coffee. I couldn't do, and I still have those kind of days. And that is classic Lewy. Now, there can be a lot of things that cause you to do that as well. And I think doctors are more wanting to attribute it to something other than what they consider a rare condition. Lewy body is not rare. It is the most common disease that nobody's ever heard of. It is the second most common form of neurodegenerative brain disease behind Alzheimer's. So, and it's growing. I'm not so sure it's growing. I think its recognition is growing as we have doctors that have become specialized in Lewy body dementia, and as the word begins to get out, and even amongst the medical community, and I really appreciate the doctors that do focus on Lewy body dementia, spreading the word as well. And as a patient, I speak to a lot of doctors groups. I have a lot of doctor contacts. I've spoken to medical societies here in East Texas. I've spoken to the general practice physicians, East Texas General Practice Physicians Convention here in Tyler, and was amazed. They were truly amazed. And I also spoke at Grand Rounds at one of the local hospitals here that has medical students come through here, and I was the first patient that had ever addressed Grand Rounds at that hospital, and they've now adopted where they bring patients in of various diseases and have patients' perspectives. And so I think the word is growing, but it's still largely not known. And so there's plenty of work to continue. One thing with dementia, people that are in early stage, and I still am in early stage, I've definitely advanced and had further problems than when I was diagnosed, but I still consider it early stage. There are a lot that don't want people to know about it. And I decided early on, I knew I couldn't work again. I sat there and the doctor told me to go back to work. Dr. Notman says, work as long as you can. And I said, well, doctor, you know what I do for a living is I defend you guys in multi-million-dollar lawsuits. Would you want me defending you? And he goes, no. And I said, well, neither would any other doctor. I can't in good conscience represent you because I don't know when I'm going to have a bad day. And so I knew my practice of law days were over when I was told what the diagnosis was. I was not, in my mind, and I was be unable to keep that a secret, both from the doctor I was representing and the insurance companies that hired me to defend the doctors. And frankly, it was sort of I knew this would happen, but once I told the insurance companies I had dementia, they didn't contact me again. So, they can't hire a lawyer that's got dementia and then something bad goes wrong in the case. They're going to blame it on that, and they're going to get sued, and they're going to say, why did you hire me a lawyer that's got dementia? And a lot of people are able to do their jobs and don't have the fiduciary responsibilities that I felt I had to both my client and the insurance companies that hire me, and had to tell them. And I knew that would result in the end of my career. And that's part of the reason I wanted something else to do for a living, not for a living, but for a reason to live.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread TEEPS's positive approach message around the world. And don't forget to click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted.